Brings it to our turn. There's a Thran Dynamo. Oh my god, this turn's gonna be wild. So play the Mountain, Thran Dynamo, play Gauntlet of Might, cast an Ugin.
Today at Commander Replay, we revisit Ashling the Pilgrim and get her updated to blow a bunch of things up in 2021. Next on Commander Replay. Help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Ashling the Pilgrim today. Take a look at this opener. This is actually okay. This is a land. Armillary Sphere gets us to 4. Repercussion is a game winner. Yeah, this works. We'll keep playing an open game on Magic Online today, something I haven't done in a long time. Tried to film this twice tonight already with some Patreons, and it has not gone well. So I'm going to try and change it up. See what happens if we go with some randos who don't know all of my tricks all of the time. Looks like we won the die roll. There's a Gauntlet of Might. Those are pretty good. No mountains in our hand, though. Kind of awkward. Play the Tectonic Edge in case we catch a land next turn, and we'll pass like that. Fintorn Elves for opponent. Brings it back to our turn. There's an Ironcrag feat. There's one that I'm actually very excited to get going. If we need to get to that Ugin, that'll actually get us there pretty quickly. We do have to play the Shatter Skull as a land, though. Pay the 3 life. Cast Armillary Sphere. And here's what I like about Armillary Sphere in the opener, is that our hand was 2 lands, Armillary Sphere, and a bunch of gas. And that's a playable hand with Armillary Sphere. It's probably not with most other things. Spine Rock Knoll for opponent. 3 visits. It will get a little awkward if we don't draw a land, because that'll actually put us to 8 cards in hand if we crack the Armillary Sphere. Sylvan Library for opponent. So yes, we're playing Ashling the Pilgrim today. One of my favorite commanders, second commander deck I ever built. I actually fixed up my Ashling deck for Magic Fest Vegas and had a really fun game with it. Got down to about 3 life against 3 really good opponents, and then exploded Ashling a couple times to get back to 154. Was able to take down a Scarab God, an Amanatu, and an AC, all really brand name opponents. Probably one of my favorite games from the weekend. It was definitely a long slugfest, though, and at the end of the game, the kid just put his hand out to shake my hand on a game well played, and it was a cool moment. It was a cool game. I really enjoyed that one. Anyway, we did catch that land we talked about, so play the mountain right here, and then we'll crack the Armillary Sphere after our turn. I think the question we might be looking at is, do we try and get to an early Ugin? Could be fun. We're an opponent's turn, we'll crack the Armillary Sphere right here. Get 2 mountains. Elemental Bond for opponent. Taking a look at what our opponents are playing today. First up, we have Mayael the Anima, one that I actually lost to at Magic Fest Vegas, even though I played a bunch of Mayael maybe about a year or so ago on the channel, and it didn't go particularly well for me. It's not a deck that I really enjoyed playing all that much. I am very much Team Atla Palani, if you want this type of commander. I really don't like the fact that it's 1, a lot of mana to activate the ability, and 2, it has the ability to whiff, and will do that at least a couple times. Opponent plays a Jeweled Amulet. It's an interesting one. You really only see that in like competitive formats where having an extra mana early in the game really matters a lot, like getting to 3 mana a lot faster. Because in a slower game, you know, if the game isn't going to end in 5 or 6 turns, a Signet is just going to be better than this all the time because this won't really generate you extra mana. Because you have to pay to put the counter on it, you're not really getting additional mana to your overall mana count throughout the game. It does give you a little bit more in one particular turn. So, you know, there is a place for it somewhere, but if you're expecting the game to go more than 6 turns in EDH, it's not really a card you need. Shadow Spear for opponent. That's a Soul Ring. Soul Ring is super helpful right here. So, play a mountain. Actually, I think Soul Ring gets us to that Ugin. Oh no, I tapped our mana wrong. Okay, now it doesn't. Now it doesn't, so we'll just value a little bit this turn instead. That being the case, we can get Brash Taunter. Let's get the Solemn Simulacrum, just get more mana going. Get a mountain. Pass like that. Green Warden of Marasa for opponent. They want the land or the 3 visits. Also triggers the Elemental Bond. Goes for the 3 visits. Atraxa coming into play for opponent and comes in with a +1/+1 counter from Opal Palace. And they'll proliferate it, so it'll get bigger. There's an Overflowing Chalice, kick 2 times. Card that I always tell myself I'm going to run more and then don't. Beseech the Queen. You know, I haven't seen one of those in a while. They get a Howling Mine. Interesting. Should probably read their commander. Take a look at it in a sec. Brings it to our turn. There's a Thran Dynamo. Oh my god, this turn's going to be wild. So play the mountain. Play Thran Dynamo. play Gauntlet of Might, we could cast the Iron Crag and get to Ugin. That's a thing that we could do. And you know what? I'm going to do it. Cast an Ugin. That's 4. That one is 6, so we'll minus everything for 6. Opponents lose a bunch of stuff. We have 1 mana floating, can't do much with it. We'll poke this Mayael player, and we'll pass like that. That was a pretty good turn. This is the best everything's gone in the 4 or so games that I've played with this week. The Soul Ring really helped us. Also, Iron Crag, pretty cool. And then into the early mana doubler. Yeah, it's pretty good. All of which started from a hand with Armillary Sphere. Mayael coming into play. 3 visits. Puts another counter on the Jeweled Amulet. Puts a counter on Dreadship Reef. It's got 3 counters on it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, I see why they're playing it. Because with Atraxa, you can put an extra counter on there. And that does make this a much better card than it is otherwise. So, I see what's going on. Still not my favorite. I'd probably still run a Signet or Everflowing Chalice. I'd probably run Everflowing Chalice in that slot. Unfortunately, this has 4 power from our Gauntlet of Might, so shooting it with an Ugin does not kill it. Anyway, let's take a look at opponent's commander here. It's Runo Stromkirk out of Crimson Vow. I'm pretty sure that's Crimson Vow. It's been like 5 sets in the last 3 weeks. It's a 3-mana 1/4 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If it's a creature with mana 6 or greater, transform Runo Stromkirk. On the backside, it has flying. When it attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of another target attacking creature. If that creature is a Kraken, Serpent, Octopus, or Leviathan, create 2 of those tokens instead. That is spicy. Very spicy. I'm not entirely sure what you do with that. Leviathan, Octopus, Serpent, and Kraken stuff, I assume? Howling Mine, love it. Opponents can activate Gyreach Sanitarium. See what we get. Skyclave Relic. Oh, that's more ramp. I mean, we can't discard the other 2. The other 2 are insane, so makes me sad, but we're getting rid of Skyclave Relic. Runo Stromkirk coming in. I see. So they discarded a creature, and now they're going to put that creature back on top. It's a Sphinx, though. Not one of the card types that it cares about, but it is a big creature. Brings it back to our turn. We draw land and Howling Mine trigger. Hammer of Nazan is a magic card. Play the Mountain. Play Ashling. Play Brash Taunter. We'll bolt opponent in the face right here. We'll get Hammer of Nazan. Free equip to Ashling. Hold back the Repercussion. That one tends to scare people. Next turn, though, get opponents to drop in a few creatures, pop Ashling, and that might be all she wrote. Nope, opponent has feelings. They're going to Swords Ashling. It's not ideal. Back to the command zone. Fizzles are free equip, but will recast Ashling. Things you can do when you have a ton of mana at your disposal. This is the best the mana production has gone so far in any game that I've played in the last week. And we'll just stay back. Howling Mine trigger for opponent. It's worth noting that we have more creatures than opponents right now, and Repercussion may not be the smartest idea until they get more creatures. But in all likelihood, Mayael will find one when they activate their ability here. Howling Mine trigger. Ew, that's a Black Sun Zenith X2. What we can do is pump up this Ashling one. So at least that will survive, but it's going to get our Brash Taunter. That's not amazing. I haven't seen this one in a really long time. It's one of those cards that when you talk about things getting faster and more efficient, it's just a lot of mana for a board wipe in black. We do draw with the Solemn Simulacrum. It's a Heartstone. That's very good. Yeah, it's just a lot of mana, especially if you need to get something bigger. But, you know, if you're talking about like mono black, when you get Cabal Coffers going, it does have a lot of value late in the game. It's particularly good against indestructible targets. That's kind of the big thing you want it for. It's also really good if there are just giant things out there that you can't kill. Like sometimes making something have no power or very low power and leaving it in play is also fine. So, I don't know. It's an interesting card. Doesn't show up quite as much as it used to, but, you know, 10 years ago was definitely a staple of the format. But with Toxic Deluge showing up and some of the newer ones, board wipes have gotten a bit more efficient. Opponent got a Runo Stromkirk trigger. Opponent hit Ashling with Feed the Swarm, and Ashling's going to go down back to the command zone. I mean, it's annoying. Eats up a little bit of our mana, but luckily we have a ton of mana. Put the Shadow Spear on this thing. It's a 2/4. Unfortunately, out of reach of Ugin at 4 toughness. They're going to swing into the Ugin, put it down to 1 loyalty. I mean, if they're doing that, that's damage we're not taking to the face, so they can mess around with the Ugin all day if they want to. Probably won't have a way to save it for next turn, as far as I'm seeing, but Yeah, there's a big flyer. Arbiter of the Ideal coming in. When it becomes untapped, reveal the top card of your library. If it's an artifact, creature, or land card, you may put it onto the battlefield with a manifestation counter on it. That permanent is also an enchantment to it, in addition to its other types. Hellkite Tyrant and Arcane Signet are magic cards. So let's tap up all our colorless mana, get the Arcane Signet. This is a flyer, actually, that can block the stuff coming in, so that's a thing to think about. Bolt the Mayael. See what Mayael hits, because this, if they hit something big, might have to course correct here. If it's even a Vorinclex, I saw some Vorinclexes this weekend, and it was not happy. It's a Congregation at Dawn, so we'll know what they're getting. I guess that's something. Actually, with the Congregation at Dawn, they won't have enough mana to activate. No, they will. They will because of Gauntlet of Might. They have a mountain. Okay, so they measured that out perfectly with their mana. See what they got. Angel of the Ruins is not amazing. Kogla and Avacyn. Oh, I see. Which one are we going first? Activates Mayael. Interestingly, they'll only be able to get one of those and the rest will go away. Activates Mayael. Yeah, they go for the Avacyn. That is much better than them going for Angel of the Ruins. And now that'll go to the bottom of their library. Kogla's also really annoying. Mayael will survive, so that is a thing. But that does mean that I'm going to go on the Hellkite Tyrant plan here and make sure we get that into play. Put a Hammer of Nazan on it. See if we can get our commander back. 6 for Ashling. We have exactly 6. So opponent's throwing a little disruption at us, messing us up a little bit. I mean, rightfully so. We're off to a crazy start. So much mana. Avacyn's funny, too, with Repercussion because they won't die. So, there's something funny about that. I find it amusing. This thing does have Trample, which will be nice in case we need to attack through here. Can steal some Mana Rocks. Stealing Mana Rocks, always a good time. Avacyn into the Ugin. So if they have a piece of removal on the hammer, they can blow us out. And I don't know if I love that. Either that or they're bluffing. But I'm going to assume that they're not trying to bluff us. Yeah, I think I'll just let Ugin go. It's done enough. I want to keep the Hellkite Tyrant. That gives us a nice flying blocker. There is flying on board, and we need to be able to keep that Avacyn away. So, plus we can steal some Mana Rocks, stuff like that. All seems really good. Nylea, God of the Hunt. Not a creature yet. Trample is a thing, though. Fathom Mage coming in for opponent. Creatures are good. Puts a counter on it. Sure. They'll draw a card. As Foretold for opponent. That's a card. Rune Stalactite. There you go. I see what they're doing. Equips it to the Sphinx. It'll now have the appropriate creature types, as it has all creature types. They're going to swing those into the other player. That almost feels like a board wipe play. 2 cards, a lot of mana open. Well, they get a whole bunch of these Arbiters. They get 2 additional ones. It's a lot of damage. Gaia Reach Sanitarium. It'd have to be pretty good for us to discard one of these 2. Mountain is not it. One of discards a Gave. Oof, yeah. Those can be nasty. Earlier, thinking about that Black Sun Zenith that they played, I guess I see what they're up to in the sense that Atraxa proliferates, so even if you don't kill everything, if Atraxa is in play a couple turns, it'll probably kill the creatures you're trying to get. Opponent is now tapped out, though, so we're not going to get rifted this turn, which sounds fantastic. There's an Inventor's Fair and an Arch of Oriska. Let's get the Inventor's Fair into play. Let's get the Arch of Oriska. Yeah, that's tricky. We'll get Inventor's Fair, I guess. Get Heartstone. Get Repercussion. We have many Ashling activations now. Let's go attack opponent and steal all of their stuff. Send in the dragon. Oh my god, they have a Shadow Spear. Oh my god. Uh-oh. Hellkite Tyrant trigger. We steal all of their artifacts. Opponent goes down to 30. We'll equip the Shadow Spear to our Ashling. Because, yes. And I guess we can equip this to Ashling also. 2 for that? I don't actually know if that's... yeah, maybe that is because they will make a bunch more of those. Although if they do that, then we just Repercussion them to death. Yeah, let's just take it. How many artifacts? We're at 11 artifacts. It's not bad. Got 8, 9 mana right here. Oh, yeah. End step. Put 2 counters on Ashling. So this is actually like a pretty heavy Voltron type of deck. But this game, we just haven't drawn much of the Voltron stuff. Kind of went in on the Ugin thing and the massive ramp. But there are a lot of equipment in the deck, and they are all very good. A lot of the usual suspects for Voltron decks, but luckily we're able to steal the Shadow Spear from opponent. And our type of Endurance is fine. It's another creature. Put one more counter on Ashling. Unfortunately, I did not put Scythe of the Wretched in the deck, but in paper I do have it there. I'd probably go get it with Inventor's Fair if I had it, because... Well, I didn't put it in because it's been bugged on Magic Online forever and ever. I don't know if they ever actually fixed it. I assume they haven't, because it's not a card that is really relevant in the tournament formats. So I excluded it here just because it triggers like way more than it's supposed to. It doesn't even need to be equipped, and when a creature dies, you'll gain control of it, which is not how it works. But in paper, I'd probably go for that. You can also go for like a Cauldra. I'm not running it today because it is very mana intense, but with Cauldra, it's even better than Death Touch, actually. It gets you around Avacyn and stuff like this. Gets you around Indestructible. Opponent says we screwed. Quite possibly. No attacks. This might be an archenemy situation. It's not good. Because they probably would have at least attacked someone else with the Avacyn, but there's an As Foretold. Spike Weaver. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Does not stop Ashling damage. It's good news. Ew. It just occurred to me that we can remove Indestructible. That is a thing. Shadow Spear is a card. I have rarely used that ability. I think I've used it like one time. But we'll need more counters first before we can actually kill the Avacyn. Opponent's going to swing over to the Runo player with their Fathom Mage. Probably a little upset for attacking them pretty hard. I wouldn't be surprised if we get all this stuff in the air next turn. But as long as we can explode Ashling with lifelink, then I don't really care too much about that damage. Opponent gets 3 of these triggers. Seems pretty good. Let's see what they hit. There's a land. They scry one. Helpful. With those triggers on the stack. Gets a Deep Analysis. I don't think they can do much with that one, though. Yeah, they reveal Deep Analysis twice, but, you know, if you're looking for card draw, they probably need to be searching for answers, so I get it. Maskwood Nexus will get the same job done. Whelming Wave is a very large problem in this moment. Oh, funny story. Ashling isn't going to get bounced. The dragon will, but it's a good thing we moved the Rune Stalactite. How about that? Ashling has every creature type. Very cool. Generous gift on the Repercussion. Oh, I see how they want to play this. Do we just explode it then? Probably. Get that damage in on everyone. Opponent's going to activate Spike Weaver. Sure. Yeah, we'll pop Ashling right here so we can get all that sweet, sweet damage. We'll also activate the Shadow Spear. Oh, God, we used the red mana. That's not what we wanted to do. It's not how we wanted to do that. Oops. Hopefully that doesn't bite us. Activate Ashling again. I'm curious to see something. I was talking about an interaction with the players in the game that I was playing at Magic Fest Vegas, and if you can respond to Ashling's Explode trigger by putting more counters on it, I'm very curious. Activate Ashling again. No, because it's all a single block of text. Lot of repercussion triggers. Ashling to the command zone. We go up to 109. Yeah. I love this deck. Love this deck. Opponent scoops. Other opponent scoops. Yeah, there we go. Repercussion triggers inbound. Jovial goes down to 6. Okay, yeah, well, this all worked out. Inventor's Fair. Back to our turn. Yeah, opponent scoops right there. We just attack them with the thing and they die. We did it! We played some Ashling, and it was a very, like, non-Voltron-centric type of game. If we take a look at the deck list, a lot of swords. Sinew and Steel, Hearth and Home, Fire and Ice, Feast and Famine, Luxodon Warhammer, Shadow Spear, Basilisk Collar, Blade of the Blood Chief I haven't really been feeling, so I think I'm going to switch that for a Ring of Valkus. Walking Atlas is still in testing. Hasn't really shown up when I wanted to. You want to see it early, and then just activate it a bunch of times and get some lands into play. Particularly good if you have a wheel or something like that. But yeah, the power of getting a mana doubler in nice and early, and the Iron Crag Feat into the Ugin basically took care of all of our problems in the early game, soaked up a lot of focus because just opponents having to deal with the Ugin. And then we were able to get Repercussion and Explode Ashling, and that's usually good enough. So yeah, got to do most of the things I wanted to do this game. I've been having fun with this deck. I forgot how fun this deck is. It's been a shame that I haven't played it in years, probably since the last time I played it on the channel, and even much longer than that in paper. But it's been an absolute blast, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one returning Patreon supporter in Sin of Sloth. Sin, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon in the link below.